What's up, everyone? What's up, everyone? I'm Bobby. You take it away, Robert.
Oh, okay. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for joining us today for another Rolling Over the Hill right here on the Live to Roll channel, and thanks to all of you for being part of the Live to Roll family. Before we get started, let's thank our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals. They're very good at what they do, and that is providing the best in a variety of medical equipment and supplies, along with excellent customer service. So check them out. We'll kick off today's show with discussing what I call the long road. It's a discussion that deals with identity and resilience over time as we age with an SCI. Make sure to include your questions, comments, and views in the chat, and don't forget to hit that like button. Hello, everyone. My name is Robert Soto. I'm a T12 spinal cord injury from a motorcycle racing accident many, many years ago. So let's get started and welcome my co-hosts, Chad, Paul, and Bobby. What's going on, Chad?
Hey, Robert. Thank you. Good to be here with everyone. I'm Chad Dismukes, C56 quadriplegic. Broke my neck in a diving accident long ago.
Chad.
And I run the website chairlife.com. It's good to be here, you guys. It's been a week, but hey, we're bobbing and weaving.
You sound really sad for some reason.
Yeah. I sound what?
Really sad for some reason. I don't know. Is it because they? Is it because of the Angels swept? I don't know. You sound like, and it looks like you've been crying. I'm so sorry for my Angels to do that to your team. Drop them below to second in the division. Too soon.
We'll come back. Let's come back.
Welcome back.
Over to you, Paul. How's it going?
Hey, it's not going too bad. My name's Paul Gustafson. I'm C56 quad as well. Motor vehicle crash 41-ish years ago, I think, something like that. Long time ago. Great to be here today. Great to be alive. Living life. Over to you, Bobby.
Yeah, what's up, everyone? I'm Bobby Rohan, C5C6 quadriplegic as well, from a bicycle accident many, many years ago. I'm not like Robert, many, many, many years, but I got too many. Great to be here. Also, before we get started, I want to thank our sponsors, mobility professionals and urology professionals. We're going to talk about more about them later in the program, but they are our sponsors, and we couldn't do it without them. Thanks, Don Woods and everybody at Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals.
Heck yeah.
Over to you, Robert.
Okay, well, we're kicking around what we wanted to talk about within the past week. So what we'll do today is kind of start out with something that I found, and it's I got some notes here that I'll be checking out. It's called basically looking at evolving identity from the spinal cord injury. Aging with SCI often reshapes how individuals see themselves, not just physically but emotionally and socially. Many experience as we age with it, a shift from survivor to mentor. And I just like, for me, because I'm kind of late coming to the game with the community, and like Bobby, I'm when I met Bobby, I already had his reputation preceded him, me meeting him. So he's like because his mentoring started from when he was first injured, for the most part, from the way I see it, and so for me, I wasn't. I mean, my identity was just me, and I didn't really have anybody to compare or talk to with what I was going through. I just kind of dealt with it.
But I know, knowing your story, Robert, and back when you first got hurt, you were out with Jeff Menenbreaker, who's somebody that was famous out here in Southern California back in the 70s. Did you for a short time before you went back to school or before you got that trucking job, you had that crew a little bit?
Yeah. Jeff Minnebricker, I call him, he was actually him and Ed Owen. I don't know if anybody knows much about Ed Owens. He was like a basketball, he had polio, but he was a basketball player. He was really big into wheelchair basketball. He taught classes over at Cal State Los Angeles in the summer and stuff. So I got with those two guys, and I got, because that was Jeff Minnebricker was the rec therapist at my rehab when I was at Rancho Los Amigos, and he got a lot of people out there. And he encouraged it. And then with him, the type of person that he was so active and nothing really stopped him. He was just like really agile in the chair and stuff like that. So, and he was a lower injury, kind of like I was. So you kind of related. But yeah, I mean, I think if I look back from my beginnings, he was the main, my primary mentor. I mean, I looked up to that guy. And I'd like to see him now. I wish I could find him or whatever, just to tell him, hey, thanks, because I don't know if he knows the impact that he had on me and a few of the other guys that were there. So, but it's funny because, my identity, and I know you guys will have a chance to say, my identity, I think when I got hurt and as I made the transition, I was young, I was like 19, and I, I got focused on the rehab in terms of the walking piece. So I think that, um, that was my challenge. I mean, I was a competitive person, but I think that's on the past years. I don't know if I'm competitive anymore. I don't know because my competitiveness went from a little bit of doing the wheelchair sports, but I wanted a little bit different. So my competitiveness became my career. Because I was in my career, I was always competing against people that were able-bodied. There was nobody in wheelchairs. I think in my 42 years with the companies, I never saw anybody in a wheelchair. So I don't know. So what we're talking about today is that, how your identity changes as you age with a disability, and how your resiliency is, how you deal with stuff, how you deal with stuff differently, not just the injury or anything like that, but your emotions, growing, getting older, and handling responsibilities. So that's kind of where we're at today in what we want to talk about. We could start there and then see how things that happen in your life, how you handle them, how the injury and your identity through the growth develops.
Let's start with you, Chad, before you start crying again.
Yeah.
No, let's start with you. I'm curious because, uh, I mean, fairly, we're new friends of the last year or two here. And what I've learned about you, you have a pretty good group of friends in your area as well that you seem to often hang out and do something with them.
Yeah, I've had a couple of mentors here in the San Antonio area that pretty much have stuck with me and are, it's part of my group of friends. That there's about five of us, and we're all about the same age and all kind of going through a similar. We're getting old, with this disability, and been having a disability for 30 plus years. And um, yeah, I noticed that from just my friends, we develop a little bit different in our disability in timeline. I feel with the age that we were injured at, just and how old we are and where we were in life. I have some friends that they were very young when they broke their neck and went through adolescence in the chair. And for myself, I broke my neck when I was 23, so I just kind of really, as much as you can at 23, kind of gotten uh, a taste of adulthood and somewhat just stepping into it.
Yeah,
And
really.
then I broke my neck. And so it was kind of like that whole identity it kind of shifts. You're laying in the bed and just that looking glass self of who the hell am I now? And I pretty much was very active and um, athletic and so on, and a worker. I could go and I was a worker. I can
Yeah.
put a roof on your house. I'll put, I just did a lot of hands-on type stuff. I worked as a paramedic for many years I was trained as a paramedic, but hands-on was my pleasure, getting out and doing things like that. And for that to all go away all of a sudden, it took a little time. I think it takes time. It took a long time for me, really. You just stepping through it. Yeah, and I think we often, or personally, have to take a breath and just ground yourself with, hey, where the timeline where we've been and what we've, yeah, I think the age helps with that, and a lot, just in the maturity and being able to just finally kind of identify in who we are. But still, it's I'm rambling here, but it's still sometimes I can step back and just be like, shit, look, who is this? I would love to be able to do things as a 50, 3-year-old guy, cooking and mowing my grass and doing different things. And at times I really have to pause still with that. But thank goodness the maturity level helps. And my friends and seeing others, and really just identifying and being okay with being in the chair and being around others that are in the chair. That takes it, that takes its course too, just being comfortable with others and that type of thing. Yeah, chime in, you guys. I can, yeah, but you know what I mean? Yeah, I don't know.
I'll chime in because for me, like with me being a latecomer to the community, um, yeah, that was a lot for me because when I first started getting involved with when I met Bobby and the Triumph Foundation and some of these other guys, I never even had that camaraderie like that. I mean, I have my friends and stuff, but they're all able-bodied, you know. So it
Yeah.
was kind of cool when I got involved and seeing that, geez, I'm not on that island or whatever. It does make a big difference. And that's why I'd like to think that it's so important for a lot of these newer injuries to understand the importance of community. So like there's a statement here that I just want to see what you guys think about this and maybe respond or include it in your comments and stuff. It says social identity may shift from the injured one to being a source of wisdom and lived experience. So that's kind of what we do, what we're doing here, right, with the show.
Yeah. If I can jump back in on that, on Bobby's
Yeah.
question, you know, I lived probably I don't know, probably 5 years, and then ended up um, getting married and raising kids. And so you identify with that. That's kind of where my identity a lot went. Also, just as a dad raising kids, and um, versus so much really owning the disability part, if you will, psychologically. You know what I mean? It's and then as that cycles, the reflection of that, you really just learn a lot of identity, I think, in general. Whether we're in the chair or we're not, but you get a lot of of of, of reflection from your family and so on. And so I think that in itself also has matured me in my disability. Yeah. So sorry, but yeah.
Yeah, I think it's interesting in what Robert said at the beginning there about the peer mentorship. If we think of that, for myself, I mean, being hurt back in '84, I remember, and I'm still in contact with the 3 guys I first met when I was in the hospital. 2 of them came rolling in as quads, and it wasn't a formal peer mentor program or anything at the time, but it was that connection, and that connection is still there. I mean, yeah,
That's
they're
cool.
like 2.5 hours away, and I don't see them all the time. And I think of myself as kind of transitioning through a few different roles as an individual matures as a human being, but also that connection and maturity as somebody with a disability. And that peer mentorship I find within the spinal cord injury society, the spinal cord injury group of people, seems to be really strong no matter where you are. I kind of rolled from being someone who had a peer mentor to going on and being a peer mentor, and
Yeah.
did that for many years. And then that, you know, went on to get more formal training and do a more formal role of more into the counseling thing. And then there was sport on the side of that, with wheelchair rugby for many, many, many years. And then, like Chad said, I got married really young, but we didn't have kids until we were like 35, 40. So then that kind of transitioned to being a parent, being a dad with a disability.
Yeah.
And then kind of hanging out with other dads or other people, parents that also had kids and had disabilities, and what that was like. And my role kind of changed again when I kind of moved away from working with disability and I started working at the university, and then I started teaching about adapted physical activity. And then that was a whole different shift in talking to young people about disability and being more of an educator. And then now, kind of since the 2020 thing, it's shifted again, and it's more getting back into that whole disability, the peer mentor thing, things like this, building these connections. And I find it really cool that, we're a long ways apart from each other as far as distance. I mean, I'm up in Canada. I'm a long ways from you guys.
Yeah.
But the stories we have, the things we share are identical. The struggles we go through, the ups, the downs, the equipment, the dealing with the tenant care, the whatever it is, medical systems, it's the same. Doesn't matter where you are.
Unless the
So
weather,
that strength within that community, like, it amazes me, you know?
unless
Like,
you unless you put weather into a factor there.
well, yeah, but there's also people that are
No,
somewhat on the border that have snow too. They're not everybody's living in California.
Yeah, really.
I mean, I believe even where you are, Chad. Sometimes, have you seen a snowflake or two down there, Chad?
No, it's been a while. But yeah,
Right.
that relational competence you talk about with others is money. I mean, I wouldn't if I yeah, I if, talking to my friends that are in chairs that are just living this and going through it and fighting
Mhm.
it at times and have the highs and lows of it, and to be able to call them and just not get any feedback, but just to spill it out because they feel it, they know.
They get it. They get it.
Yeah.
You can talk about you know catheterization or bowel care or whatever you want to call it,
Well,
and they just get it. You don't have to explain it,
Yeah.
I mean,
right?
Robert and I and our friend Dean from Mobility Professionals, we did a CASA meeting a couple months ago, maybe three now, the way time flies. But
Yeah.
we went into the cafeteria at the hospital after, and I don't know, maybe what, Robert, 10 minutes into it, all we're
Yeah.
is talking about shit and piss and
Yeah,
like like
yeah,
nobody at another table in this cafeteria is talking about their shit.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
are, but it's just
But
funny.
yeah.
You laugh, but it's true. I mean, you and Paul, you and I have become, really close since the pandemic and thanks to
yeah.
technology. But um, your girls make fun of us, but I think we're close in talking because close to similar age, similar disability, situations sometimes, and passions for certain things, and it just really helps. And you know, I recently lost my best friend in a way, and not because he passed away, but just over time, that friendship just didn't seem to be the same. He had his life, I had my life. And yes, you can have, doesn't mean you can't have an able bodied best friend. I'm not trying to say that at all. But he got the struggle, but it just wasn't relating on the same level sometimes as I get from hanging with Robert, Dean, Paul, Chad. It didn't matter, and many others.
Yeah.
It's just always comforting to be around your own. You know,
Yeah.
You said something, Robert, earlier about not being competitive anymore. You were saying I had a competitive side to walk again, and
Yeah.
the reason why for you is because you were incomplete moving your legs.
Yeah.
Um, but it's funny. Um,
But see, the
I,
competitiveness, I had that, it was when I did motorcycle racing, all that, the sports and stuff when I was younger. And I had that transition to what I need, where I needed it as I, transitioned. Then when I wasn't into doing really any of the sports, I mean, I enjoy watching stuff, but I really wasn't participating. That competitiveness that I had went into my career. And,
no,
but I don't know if I'm competitive. I don't think I'm competitive
well,
anymore. I don't
like
think so.
I was gonna say this. I'm competitive still, but you got to remember, I'm also more than
A little bit competitive.
within myself. I'm very competitive, but like this Saturday, we're planning on going down to a beach thing that's going to
Yeah,
have quad rugby and a couple other things. I have no desire, even though quad rugby was my sport in the day. I have no desire to play. I just want to go and hang out.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's where
And
I'm at.
need to try anything. In fact, Ken's in the chat. We plan that we're taking the train down together. First my train comes and then I pick him up and we're going down together. And
Oh, yeah. That's
but
so
the
cool.
to play like that is, and my competitive used to be as a peer mentor as well. But now I just recently changed my Instagram um, to SCI Quadfather. Just
Right.
felt, when your grandfather, he doesn't have the worries as the dad does, right? For a long time, I've been the dad, and I've always been that mentor of mentors, uh, way
Yeah.
before my accident. In
Go
my
Dodgers.
and yeah, in my high school, uh, in my high school on the swim team, I was in the fast lane, and thanks to lots of hard work and gifted talent of swimming, I was in the fast lane. I finished my sets before everybody else, and you know what I used to do? I used to go underneath all the lanes to the slow lane and root on the slower people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on, you can just translate it to me from right at the get go after I got hurt. And
So you compete against yourself. You set your competitiveness against yourself. You want to improve, or you want to beat this record, or whatever you set yourself to accomplish. Is that what it is?
within myself,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, Bobby, and you and I have talked about this. Individual sport is where your heart really is. I think it always
Hmm.
has
yeah,
because then you challenge yourself. The goals you're setting are goals to accomplish yourself.
yeah.
I really respect that. I appreciate that. Personally, that external motivation that I see from you gives me motivation internally.
Hmm.
Some people have more internal motivation. Some people get motivation externally. I think, if I was being honest with myself, I get it more from others. I get my motivation and my external drive from others, um, to challenge myself, to push myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Well, you're being inspired. You're being inspired.
And
but
just
here's
Yeah,
another component to our aging, um, and taking a sidestep that you know we don't we're more relaxed about UTIs, about bowels, about changes to our body. That starts happening compared to when we were younger, right? When those first few years of trying to figure out what leg bag what catheter am I going to use, um,
hmm
how am I going to get out of bed today? Who's going to help me out with this or that? And I think over time, once you just learn all those things, like the other day, I had I could feel a small UTI coming on because of the night before. I just got into a shivering, and it's
Yeah.
like 6 o'clock, perfect weather out here. The wind died down, and I'm sitting there like, dang. And my wife's like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "It might be a UTI." And I went and used the restroom shortly after, and I'm like, "Yep, that's a small UTI."
Mhm.
So, but it's just how, you just know, and you're not all worried like we were, or like I probably in my back in my younger days, I would take one of my antibiotics that I had saved up. Oh, better take the Cipro for 2 days.
Yeah, yeah, really. Little cloudiness. Oh man, you start panicking and
Yeah,
all that stuff. Well, you know what? But that thing is like, but with that, and as we age, and like you said, you understand a little bit more. But it also fosters, because how does it affect your feeling of independence? But does it foster, like, let me make a note here. Does it foster adaptive? Well, it fosters adaptability because you already been through all that, and you're resilient. You build that resilience towards, like, you're not worrying about it now. Like, you're not jumping onto the Cipro and things like that. So the age related, uh, as we get older, the age related challenges. Um, one of the benefits through aging, especially with SCI, is your resilience. You deal with things differently. There's a thing here that I
I
wanted
don't
to
know.
say.
Did you guys in your aging at year 25 to maybe 30? I want to say I had a rocky little patch there. I don't know what it was, and I don't know if anybody else, like, here you are getting older and getting nervous about that. And I think once I got through some of those little struggles, body starting to, the phantom pain coming on worse, the nerve pain, like there's no tomorrow. It feels like I'm sitting on a rock right now. Um, but like I want to say in year 25, it just hit me like a big roller coaster all the time with my emotions. With, maybe it was because I had more hospital stays for some reason. I don't know, but it just seemed like it was, it was like that, the shift in life. And then all of a sudden I got through it. And I feel like the last um, several years have just been nothing but like, never been so happy in my life.
It humbles you. Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it humbles you.
yeah.
It happened to me 3, 4 years ago. Same deal. It just kind of like, hey,
So it
I'm
did
happy to
happen to
be
you.
alive.
So it happened to you, Chad?
Yes, it happened to me about 3 years ago. I got a bad systemic infection, and man, I was just, it scared me. I could have died. And it was like, hey, I mean, I'm going to quit. I'm going to take ownership of this disability, and I want to live, instead of just brushing it off and not surrendering to the health side of it, and then you add the health, the aging on top of that. And it's like, hey, I want to live, I mean, I used to think, hell, I'll be happy if I live to be 70, but fuck, man, let's live. You know what I mean? I agree with you. I'm happy right now. I feel good. I've got friends that, I really good friends throughout, both in chairs and that care about me. And it's yeah, I'm happy to be alive, and I think every day's a privilege. And shit, thank God for my age and my maturity in a lot of ways. Just to to be able to take care of myself and to feel okay and to be mindful of, like you mentioned, when something comes up, we've learned. I mean, the doctor ain't going to tell me about my body any more than I know about it, especially at
Yeah,
this.
Yeah,
We know
exactly.
we
for
know our
sure.
body. And us guys, us spinal cord injured folks, I mean, we're all a little bit different. We might be C5, 6 quads or 6, 7 quads, but we're all tweaked just a little bit different. So knowing our body, is key. There's no just black and white to this, to us individually. I don't believe, and so yeah, I
I
totally
guess,
agree.
to be honest, I don't think I never experienced that low, like at that 20 year, 25-year mark, or like Chad, mine's. I think mine's more happening almost right now, or more recently with some of the other changes that are going on. Like everything was just kind of clicking right along. I've been really fortunate as far as health with my injury. I haven't had any hospital stays. Last time I stayed in the hospital was when I broke my neck 41 years ago.
Yeah.
I've never been even overnight in a hospital. I don't
Not
think
recommended.
yeah, yeah. So I'm really, really fortunate that way. And I mean, yeah, I had kind of a bad winter with UTI there, and um, that that really sucked. But seem to have kind of got over that hump now. And I mean, right now I got other stuff going on within my personal family, like with my wife being sick. She's very ill with cancer right now, and now that whole role is shifting. So I'm going through a bunch of different transition there as far as, she was the one who always helped me. She was the one who has been my caregiver for all those years. And now that's
You're
all
the
shifting
now you're the caregiver.
myself, more myself and my daughters. I've got an 18-year-old and a 23-year-old that are really stepping up. But now I'm looking for external help too, around the house, personal care help, but also help around the house and the yard and stuff too. Like you say, Chad, simple things like cutting the grass or fixing a leaky pipe or whatever, you gotta find people for all of that. You gotta,
And that costs money. I mean, there's a that's just not for nothing,
I
you
know,
know.
and I phoned I lined up with some personal care stuff, phoned a company there today, and minimum 3 hours. And I think, Bobby, you'd nailed it there yesterday when I mentioned it to you. Yep, their rate's $40 an hour now. Last time I used them for a brief time here a number of years ago, and it was, I don't know, $36 an hour or something, still ridiculous. $40 an hour. So just before the show, I'm kind of figuring that out. Okay, if I had to get them $40 an hour, 3 hours a day, 365 days a year, add tax on top of that, you're pushing $50,000 a year.
You know,
Whoa,
yeah,
where does that gonna come from?
we talk about yeah, aging as we're getting older with this disability, and just like you mentioned, Paul, would just help to come in and help us, and our primary caregivers maybe not being able to do it any longer.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I think we have to be, and it just worked out this way for me in that I've built a pretty good network of female friends that have been my caregivers, and I've stayed in touch with them, and they're local and they're close, and I've got about four of these women that that will help me, and I can contact and that type of thing, and I yeah, as you mentioned the show, the topic of the show, Robert, and I think about that, just the things that we need to be mindful of as we're getting older. I have a buddy of mine that has never been in the hospital, and he had skin issues, and now he's got some other stuff, just complications of it, and his wife's always helped him, and just that, just things we get older, and our caregivers get older, and especially the ones that we live with, and our children move out, when they go to college or fly the nest, and so being mindful of this as we're getting older, and staying healthier. I think we do stay. I feel pretty healthy, knock on wood, and feel like I can live long. And it's kind of like, hey, I think we have, yeah, for the younger guys, for the ones that are just starting out, we've got to put these pieces in play, or have a plan. Just have a plan to be able to kind of drop into and or be mindful of. And I know for me, for the longest time, I don't want to fuss with this disability. The last thing I want to do is think about what I have to do to, just throws this disability in my face. I don't want to look at it so much, but taking ownership of these things just as an adult, as a as a man in ourselves, of our family, yeah, I hear you. Hmm.
Just about, to state that there, Chad, is that setting things up is not always that easy. So
Yes, yes, yes. I totally, I hear you. Yeah.
that's like getting out there and and doing a will for yourself and this or that, and because it's the
And
you
yeah,
don't
and
want
the
to, because getting old, that means you're that much one more step to where life could take a big change, and you don't want that. We like
yeah,
where we are right now. I mean, Paul's going through it. I've gone through it with my wife a couple times where, one time I thought I almost lost her, and then she just recently broke a hip. But, you know, but, yeah, I want to go to a comment real quick with Jay. Um,
Yeah, I was just looking at that too.
yeah, I have no reason not to be happy, but for some
Yeah,
reason, I'm struggling to see that and use that for good. Do you have a comment about that, Paul?
well, I saw that and I thought, Jay, we're not really that far apart. I mean, we're far apart, but we're in the same country. We're just a province beside each other. So I invite you, Jay, to reach out. I know we've chatted on Instagram a couple of times, and let's do that more. I mean, I'm here, man. I love chatting, and just that connection is awesome. I kind of recently reconnected with some of my other buddies that I haven't chatted with for quite a while, and it's been really good. So I invite you, Jay, to reach out, man. I'd love to chat with you, and yeah, sometimes it's
Yeah.
not easy. I'm
Well,
going through that right now too. So trying to trying to do that whole planning thing, like Chad was saying, and I
yeah,
don't
and
I don't
I know
have
me
it
too.
all.
I don't have it planned out either, but you know what I mean. Just now that
Yeah,
thinking about it, and you're Paul, you're
yeah,
one friend of mine that is facing it now, just like another friend of mine, and it just makes me realize that hey, this this is all subject to change, and just to be
yeah. And sometimes no matter how much you plan, you gotta. What's that key term everybody uses nowadays? You gotta pivot,
pivot, yeah. Well, that
right?
that was Tuesday's show. We came to a pivot, and I made a thing on social media about pivoting. And that's yeah, it's a constant pivot.
Yeah,
And
you hear, yeah, you hear it
when
all the time.
Black Olivia said it, a new show idea for pivot and tweak.
Yeah.
Tweaking,
that's
Chinese.
constant.
Yeah, it's just constant. And I want to say this about Jay. Jay, you're not alone.
Yeah,
That's for one thing. Bernard
yeah,
said, "Hey, I get you." And and I, and I think it's as much as I'd like to say I'm happy-go-lucky, and I have a lot of good things and feeling good about myself, but it just constantly I'm screaming inside, of wanting to do just like some of the normal things that
Yeah.
house or use my hands.
Fuck,
yeah.
it kills me sometimes.
It's
God, it kills me
yeah,
sometimes.
and you're just like, oh,
Oh man. And asking for help. I'm so tired of asking for
Oh,
someone.
that comment of yours, Chad, you said this a few times. You only had so many asks.
Oh my God. I just don't. I want to get it
That
by
has
myself.
come true with me recently, man, because now that my wife's kind of down right now and might be for quite some time here, I'm asking my kids, and I'm like, I get a lot of brah. Come
Well,
on, can you just practice brah? It's like
thank
you
goodness
own
they're still doing it. Yeah, mine quit doing it even when I asked him, and it's just like, oh man.
So I got a question for you guys, since we all, have a disability of some sort in terms of limitations, things like that. Do you think because of what we've been through in all these years, do you think we have stronger coping mechanisms?
Well, yeah.
I think
I
we
would.
have patience.
We
Uh,
have coping mechanisms for sure.
um,
We have patience, absolutely.
well, I think that's just a given. I mean, if you don't have patience, you don't have anybody helping you. When we say,
And you're
I mean, for
and
that,
you're
if
crazy.
you don't have patience and you're screaming at your help all day, they ain't gonna be around. I guarantee you that. And that's
Well,
I,
and that's what's so frustrating. Where you want to scream, it's like, bless my soul. I have a great person that comes in twice a week. Every day is like every time she comes in. So some days it's almost like it's where do we start? Like why do I have to say this again? You know, but
Yeah.
okay. You know, inside I'm screaming. I'm like, hmm. You know, but you know what? This is my care. So why am I screaming? You know, why am I, you know, not tolerable to this? You know, I guess, you know how you're like, there's 100 people around and everybody leaves, and then you ask your wife for that help. She's like, why didn't you ask somebody else when they were all here? I'm like,
Yeah.
because you always feel more comfortable around that person that you're around, you know. So your
And
loved
some,
one or the one that you there's always one I feel like that you feel more comfortable around than any, you know.
yeah,
At the
yeah,
beginning it was my dad, you know. Asking my dad, whatever, you know. And it's so funny the role reverse too of, you know, of getting older, but you know, also getting older is also being more of a caretaker to our parents.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
There's
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
The
you change
role, the
that.
role reversal. The role changes.
Oh my god, it's like see my dad today. It was, you know, it's like I feel like I'm taking care of a little kid.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think everyone feels that way as the parents age, and then if they have any type of health issue, it even makes it, it compounds it.
yeah,
But I know for me, because when I was growing up, I was a perfectionist, which was like crazy because you put stress on yourself. So as I got a little bit older, and I kind of worked on not being, trying to have that in my life. So I got better at it. But now, and I'm still an anal person. I mean, I still like doing things a certain way. I mean, the way I like to do it. But now that I'm getting older and I getting more limitations, and I do have to have somebody help me, and it drives me nuts, even though it gets done the same way, but the way they do it, that
Yes.
that is hard. So biting my tongue and being
Yeah,
quiet, just keep it cool. They're helping you, and it's going to be the same result. But I don't know why it's that way, and so I lost that for a while, but now it's coming back to me. Now I go, nah, I gotta lighten up on this because no one's going to want to help me if I start being an idiot about stuff, and it really it doesn't matter as long as it gets done. But in the time that they're doing something, I'm going, shit, I could do. What takes me 30 minutes now. These people are doing it in 2 minutes, and I'm pissed off. I don't know if it's because they're getting it done, and if I did it, it's going to take me forever.
but
yeah.
are they doing it right? Like,
Yeah,
my
but
dad.
they're not doing it the steps I would do. But hey, it's getting done.
Yeah,
Oh, like, you know, my shoes sometimes. You know, I take off my shoes and I'm like, I'm a shoe guy, and I before
Yeah.
injury, my shoes were set up against the wall with the heel up a little bit, the toe down, loose. Oh, I'm and it's never nobody has ever been able to do it since. You know, for 36 years, every time I see my shoes, I'm like,
no,
Yeah.
you bet didn't have a little tool that you could just reach down and just flip it up against the wall a little bit.
oh, I do
Like
it
if you had something like
now.
a hook, that would be really cool, eh?
Now that
Didn't
I
oh,
this,
there you
Yeah.
go.
I
Thank
went to
God for the hook it.
I went to the dry today and I had a bag of shirts and I dropped the bag and it was a pillowcase as our bag for the dry cleaners. And I was just like, oh, I hate this. So I'm like, trying to get it. Finally, I'm like, duh. I grab my hook and I'm just like, and then
Yeah.
like the sheets just, or that pillowcase just hooked just nicely, like not on a hook, but just the sheet itself. I'm like,
It just brought it right up to you.
yeah, it brought it right back up to me. I was like,
We need a little sheath to be able to sheath those in the chair and just have it all the time. I have mine stuck in my chair. I've kind of jammed it in there in a lot of ways, but yeah, we need some type of holster for it. Is what we need.
well,
Shit.
and where I have mine, it sits great as long and it sits at an angle so away from my front caster. Once in a while, because it's right near my brake and I hit it,
Careful,
and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, why isn't it not moving? And it's because that hook
dude. Or will get stuck in your caster wheel. Be careful with
exactly,
that because
yeah,
they're stuck.
exactly.
I was gonna talk to you about that too, Chad. We're gonna figure out how you can ship those up here because I want even if you only ship me 3 or something, man, I'll pay shipping. I need the short ones.
Yes. Cool. I
I
have
don't
short
get
ones.
that long one. I need these short ones, man.
That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. The asking for help portion of this is just, it gets old. And it
Yeah.
takes, after a while, it just takes its toll. It's like, man. And then you get people that around you. I mean, I've got family around me that they are just, and I don't resentful in so many ways, for one reason or another, but just won't. And it's like, shit, did I create this monster? You know what I mean? Which I don't blame, but maybe partially I feel responsible for it in a lot of ways too. So you got to go slow and steady, and just, I mean, hell, we want to get it done. We want to get it done our way, and yeah, it's
You
definitely a lesson in patience.
My wife and I, my wife more had the discussion with me. It's just, like it's, she told me she wasn't very happy with me in the sense of like some of these things, like I would get in bed and then, oh, can you give me this? Oh, can you give me that? Oh, can you give me this? Just like, and so what I really have, and it was kind of her, the way she brought it up, but it made me feel like, you know what? Maybe I'm taking advantage of the situation, and
Yeah, not
we
willingly, not
not,
not not knowingly. Yeah,
and I plus my wife has she's a very giving person. She just gives, but it also it's her downfall too. When you're doing that to somebody, they expect that, I guess. So I'm really been taking that better, more
hmm,
assertive charge to like, no, have this ready. This is going to be here. This is okay. Everything's
yeah,
up. I'm ready for the next day. I did it myself. Um, and now it has been a lot better because I have been more on top of my needs. No, don't be the lazy one, be the assertive one. What?
yeah.
And
But,
then some night,
Yeah.
what are you doing? I'm like, I'm getting
but
everything ready, and she's like, well, I can help you, and I'm like, I think
yeah,
that's an avoid here.
I think it can get to the point too, though, where we become, with our partners and with our family dynamic over time, that it gets resentful in that we don't want to get done what we need to get done to take care of our own well-being, because we just don't want to rock that boat, or don't want to go personally, you know what I mean. In time, that has developed where it's like, shoot, I'll my assistant's not going to come, say she called in and won't come, but I was supposed to do a bowel routine or having to do something like that, and I just won't, it'll be something I'll I won't do, and I'll just sacrifice my health for. And I've done that over the years, and it comes to the point where it's like, hey, this isn't healthy, and I
Yeah.
think we have to be
Yeah.
cautious of that too, and falling into that trap. It's a this the yeah, yeah, it is definitely a interesting little dynamic that,
But and the thing is though, because I kind of do the same thing. It's just that I have a routine to make sure, because if I want to call it a night, there's little things that I need to get done, because then I'll get in, and the transfers aren't stopping me or anything, but the transfer towards the end of the night, towards the end of the day, my body's done, and I don't care what I did during the day. My body just, there's a point where I just don't have the strength. And so I make sure that, okay, I have my water, I get my meds, take all that, do all this stuff. And then there'll be one thing that I forget, and you get in bed, you go, oh yeah. And then you kind of think, and it, that's where you go. And it could be something to deal with the other, oh, I should cath, or whatever. And I get lazy, but I just have to make sure I stick to that routine. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is that I think we all kind of experience that, because sometimes it's just easier to ask somebody, hey, because it's going to take you the transfer, get
yeah,
up, go down the hall, whatever, get what you got to, and get back in your chair, get back into the bed and all that stuff. When the one person that's there with you can do it in a minute,
it
right? And
just
so
it
you
just
kind
it
of
just depends
get
how much
stuck in
that
that.
ask is going to cost you. Those asks sometimes
Yeah,
cost a whole lot, man.
yeah, yeah. You're better off doing it. But yeah,
Yeah.
so my thing is, I have a regiment now. Again, it's maybe part of me being anal, but I have to do all that. So when I hit that bed, I don't have to get out of there anymore until I want to.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, it's just, and it's just what we do now. It's just, I mean, it's not like you've been doing this for 6 months. We've been doing this for years, man, decades.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But there's sometimes where I just get lazy. I go, man, you know, I don't
Yeah.
know, man.
yeah. You
So
would think we would have this down pat by now, but
Yeah,
no. That,
yeah,
that's called being human, and we're just
so
yeah.
and
hey, Paul, let me ask you. So, are you, since your wife is doing your primary care and and she's no longer able to do so at this time, are you transitioning into having a caregiver come into your home for the first time?
That's what I'm having to do. Yeah. So I'm
And
working on that.
you haven't had to do that in the past, as far as working
I've
with
had
somebody?
it. I have in the past a little bit, but it's always been very temporary and short term, very short term. Um, like even as she's kind of been going through this, there was a few years back I did it short term as well. So it's not brand new, but doing it probably looking more long term now. This is different. This is different. So
That is a
yeah, and we
yeah.
talked about doing it before, but it was always we just didn't want to have people coming in and out of the house. It worked good to have her do it, and now that doesn't work anymore. So that's a big that's a big change, and it's
Mhm.
I mean it's messing with my head more than anything else. I mean today it was a phone call and it's all getting set up and stuff, but it's in here. I got
Yeah.
to deal with it in here.
And but emotionally, man, it's just like
but
Yeah.
it beats you up. Yeah.
a lot of us who have gone through this, it's awkward to have somebody come into your home.
Oh yeah, yeah.
How is it emotionally, Paul, for you? Can you describe that?
Ooh.
Ooh, that's a good one, Chad. Now I'm in a counseling session. Uh,
No.
um,
Tell me
I,
how
don't
you.
know, I just at first I was ignoring it. I didn't want to deal with it. I just kind of shut down. I and
Mhm.
I jumped on with Bobby one day and said, "Yeah, man, I wish you were next door because I got to go talk to somebody."
Yeah.
Um, and then it was just kind of ignoring it um,
Just
and the whole
yeah.
idea. I know when I've had it before, I haven't been able to sleep well because I know somebody's coming in, so I want to make them awake and kind of at least doing some stuff that I can do before somebody walks into the room. Um,
Mhm.
so kind of getting through all that. Um, I gotta work. I'll keep you updated. How is that? I
Yeah,
don't
be
know.
patient, Paul. I mean, that's all we can do is be patient. And I think that's, when I say surrender to it with this disability, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting at in that too. Just someone coming in and having to wait for them and their pace and,
Mhm.
and the way they go about doing things for
Yeah,
me, in my,
providing providing the instruction of how you want, like you mentioned, Bobby. And I've
Mhm.
got a buddy and I. We've talked lots about that in the past, and he's not with us anymore. But he was always known as kind of a hard ass when it came to caregivers, but he knew exactly what he wanted, and he knew how to give direction to those
That's
people.
the key. Make a list too for them to look at and to follow. That's the
Well,
key for
that
my.
Advocate. Got to advocate for yourself.
that is a whole nother show. It's called managing your care. You know,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if that's with a caregiver, or if that's with your medical needs,
Doctors, nurses, whatever.
yeah,
yeah,
your own health,
yeah.
what you eat. I mean, yeah, that's just
That's a great topic, actually.
yeah.
That'd be good.
And
Yeah, I've been passive with mine over the years, and it's not been worth my. It's not been for my benefit as far as my health goes. And
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm really good at advocating for other people, and I suck at advocating for myself.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
But I mean, I got to say right now, I really appreciate all of you and everybody in the chat. Just the whole community because um, it's awesome. It's like even that whole mental health thing. It's
Yeah,
awesome to have.
you get through it. Shoot, I mean, joy and sorrow, they travel together. I think it's part of just
yeah, we said
you
it.
know.
Pivot, tweak. Pivot and tweak.
There we go.
Well, that time has come. No.
Has it really?
Time for our sponsors. But before we get that, thanks for everybody who's been in the chat.
Yeah, good group.
And lots of great insight there. Also, make sure you smash or hit or just click on that like button if you could for us. It does help the channel. Robert, you want to do our sponsors?
Okay. Shout out to our sponsors, Mobility Professionals and Urology Professionals. Mobility Professionals services the Southern California region, so contact them if you are in need of a wheelchair or any other DME equipment. Their sister company, Urology Professionals, can help you with your catheter needs. They service nationally, so wherever you're at in the U.S. And in need of urology supplies, give them a call. That's Urology Professionals.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then don't forget I'm going to be back with Shawn next week on Tuesday. And then the following next Thursday is going to be real wheel talk, girl talk, or something like that.
Wheel talk, wheel girl talk.
I don't have their banner. I have the other girls' banners, but whatever.
Wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wheel girl talk.
The girls will be back.
Here's what Bernard, you kind of summed up the last 15 minutes. I feel a whole lot better knowing you're all out there going through the same thing, but still living the fullest life possible. Thank you. And I hope that for each and every one of you who have been here on the chat today, Jeff,
Exactly.
Jay, Olivia, Bernard, Ken, thank you, everyone.
Derek.
Yeah, Derek. Thank you so much. We're here for you, and you're also there for us. And
yeah, exactly.
Reading that, and it helps.
Mm-hmm. Slow and steady. Jeez.
Slow and steady.
Yeah, really.
Slow and steady, guys.
All right, everybody. With that, we will get out of here, but we will see you in 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from today.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Take care.
All right. Live to roll.
All right.
Live to roll.